I'm at war with it, but it's hard to let it go.
Now I'm gonna just let y'all know off rip that I just woke up, so my voice might sound really weird and you might hear some voice cracking here and there. This always happens early in the morning and I have absolutely no idea why. Alright, so it's pretty safe to say that we're gonna get several elimination style game types in Destiny 2. So that brings up an interesting topic. Trials of Osiris, which would be called Trials of the Nine in Destiny 2. Now, I never, well, I ain't gonna say never, but I don't think I really thought about playing Trials of Osiris that much in year one of Destiny 1 when it first came out of House of Wolves. I don't want to exaggerate too much. I think I probably contemplated it, but you know, I instantaneously like shut it down every time I even thought about it, because I knew I just wasn't, I don't know, I just wasn't ready for that amount of sweat at that point in time. Like, I wasn't even curious enough to even get a fire team together because I already knew that I was gonna make a fool out of myself, or us as a team were gonna make a fool out of ourselves. But you want to know what's funny? I was actually very good at PvP back in the day. Well, back in year one. Yeah, that's what I'm referring to, because that's when Trials first came out. But to be 100% honest with you, I wasn't too concerned with my performance. Like, the biggest encumberment that I would have had to deal with was the other two teammates that I had. You know what I'm saying? And knowing my luck, it would have been two people who didn't have a clue about what was going on. Now, I played a lot of game battles in competitive gaming years and years ago, so I was already aware of how sweaty Trials of Osiris had the potential to be. So I saved myself the trouble and didn't even waste my time trying. Now, I wish I knew that year one Trials was the best and easiest time to go flawless, because I'm still kind of mad to this day that I never gave myself the chance to get the one and only exotic emblem in the entire game of Destiny 1. So let's just hope that they make more exotic emblems in Destiny 2. Hopefully. Anyways, I played Trials a little bit more in year 2 here and there, but it was never anything seriously. Like, I would only join a fire team if somebody invited me. But a big issue I had was that I wasn't like sure if I could use my preferred subclass and actually succeed in it. I was always plagued by this preconceived notion that Trials was a get with it or get lost, if you can't beat them, join them type of ordeal. See, back in year 2, the most popular setup was a Sunsinger with firebolt grenades and Viking funeral, and everybody and their mom had a sniper. Like, literally. Like, back then, I thought that if you didn't have this setup or anything similar, you were severely handicapping yourself. Now, long story short, I tried it and I didn't like it. Well, I tried that setup and I didn't like it. The Sunsinger. However, I tried it, I didn't like it, because I was never a fan of the Sunsinger for PvP, and using a class that I felt was underwhelming for a highly skilled and team-based activity like Trials of Osiris was simply doing myself a huge disservice. Eventually, I just stopped accepting invites to play Trials because I felt that if I wasn't about to go flawless, there was no point in me playing it. I remember this like it was yesterday, but an old friend asked me and another friend to play Trials during a Spooky Trials event. Y'all remember, it was when the radar and revives were disabled. And to be honest, I actually enjoyed it because it threw everybody for an unexpected loop. See, I played a lot of Gears of War back in the day, and not a single Gears of War game has a not a single Gears of War game has a radar. And the original Gears of War elimination game types were the preferred game types to play. So I was no stranger to a game type with no revives and no radar. Overall, I had fun with the Spooky Trials event, and it pretty much paved the way for my entire Trials of Osiris career. I had several Trials teammates, several Trials teams, and each one was more successful than the last one, but I still didn't know what I was doing wrong because I still hadn't been flawless yet. I believe it was December, early December of 2016. It was early December 2016 when I got on Twitch. I typed in Trials of Osiris into the search bar. I scrolled all the way down to the bottom and looked for somebody who was streaming who hadn't had any viewers. Funny story is that when I saw this kid's Twitch name, I was like, man, this dude has to be like 12 years old with that name. But long story short, this kid was going absolutely off that weekend of Trials. It was, I believe it was when the map was Widow's Court. Yeah, that's what it was. But anyways, this kid was going off that weekend. So I contacted him, asking him to help me go flawless. Now, I didn't ask to be carried because not only would I never ask somebody to carry me, I didn't actually think I needed to be carried. I was already good enough. I just didn't have dedicated or skilled enough teammates. I felt like if I asked somebody to carry me, you know what I'm saying, I might as well be asking them to do all the work for me, which definitely wasn't the case. It was about 2 days later when this kid invited me to a fire team. In about 40 minutes or so, I got my first flawless. It was dope. I was super happy because going flawless was like beating that annoying boss in a video game that you know you've been stuck on for weeks, and going 8-0 or 8-1 rather is like getting that boss down to 1 HP and losing. Now, going flawless to a Destiny player is similar to an NBA player getting a championship ring, which is why I refer to my flawlesses as rings. Long story short, I ended up going flawless 7 times in the entirety of Destiny 1. Now, I threw the towel in after that because I wasn't enjoying Destiny like I originally did, and the drive for going flawless was gone by that point in time. I collected all the armor, all the non-adept weapons, and I was even lucky enough to get a different adept weapon from the lighthouse chest from my first 4 flawlesses. Like I literally got all 4 adept weapons on, one of each on my first 4 lighthouse runs. But that's enough backstory for the time being, because now I want to talk about my expectations and predictions for Destiny 2 Trials. Okay, since every game mode in Destiny 2's PvP will be 4v4, I'm excited to see how that'll work for Trials, alongside the rumor that it'd be easier to go flawless. Now, I don't know how credible that one is, but I really hope that isn't true, because a huge part of the Trials of Osiris experience was the difficulty of going flawless and how euphoric it was when you actually did it. But that concludes this video, y'all. I hope you enjoyed it, and make sure you stop by more often for more Destiny 2 content. Peace.